Thank you for joining me on my presentation on Assignment 2, Assessment of Case Law on Finance Issues in Higher Education. My name is McKenna Bledsoe. Let's get started. Former students and alumni filed a class action lawsuit that alleged 17 top universities took into consideration students' ability to pay or needing financial aid in student admission. They inflated the cost of college for students seeking financial aid, and they were accused of favoring donor students applying for admission. Lawyers found that these universities developed a formula to accomplish this that they used in admissions. They found that some universities had already been sued for this and that this practice had been going on for decades under self-regulation loopholes created by the Improving American Schools Act of 1994. They agreed to pay a settlement of $284 million. Government programs from the Higher Education Act to more recent deregulation initiatives have given universities autonomy over financial resources. The general thought is that private universities have limited accountability and transparency, but when they worked together to come up with a way to limit financial aid and set a price of exclusion, it became a legal issue, and a settlement is in the university's best interest to avoid further litigation. The brief action plan? The action plan would be damage control. We would address this by looking at the finances, all of the sources of funding, and all of the expenses. Involve all parties of the university that is accountable to, such as donors, faculty, families, and the government, in communication of the plan for reform, the action items, and progress checkpoints. The goal would be maximizing transparency and accountability and to make sure the finances are sustainable. We would research options and weigh the overall effect. Also, monitoring and reevaluating are important. Hire an outside auditor to evaluate the management of financial resources. Federal Trade Commission sued Grand Canyon University for deception regarding their doctorate program. Grand Canyon University is one of the largest private Christian universities in the United States, with around 120,000 students. They actively recruited students with a promise of a doctorate in 60 hours at a cost of $40,000 to $49,000. The reality of the program is that they can take from 60 to 120 hours to complete, and the cost is 12,000 more than the promised amount. The promise did not include the 10 continuation courses for the dissertation program. Almost all of the students needed more than 60 hours. The Education Department has fined the university $37.7 million for misleading over 7,500 students and caused them to have high student debt that they did not plan on. It is important to note that 98% of the students did not finish within the promised time frame. The university applied for nonprofit status and was recognized by IRS and other agencies, but not the Department of Education, because the for-profit owner still has financial interest in the university. They have not settled or rectified the situation. I believe that doctoral students should research and know what they are responsible for and the amount of time it would take them to complete the course of study, knowing the dissertation requirements, and that their own personal ability and work commitment would constrain that. They would have to be committed to spend 30 to 40 hours a week studying equal to a full-time job. The fact that the university went to schools and aggressively recruited students with a written, advertised promise works against good faith, trustworthiness, and integrity expectations by students and the community. The university claims that they are being targeted because they are a Christian school. These cases are very important because case law on finance issues in higher education is the law as established by the outcome of former cases. The action plan? There needs to be a settlement and relief requirements met as the action item going forward. The court found that Grand Canyon cannot accept tuition from students, enroll them in the doctoral program, and then fail to give them faculty support necessary to complete the requirements. To rectify this, there is an obligation from the university to fully staff the classes required for dissertation support. Since the whole reason for the questionable promise was to boost enrollment, the action plan should work to solve the enrollment deficit. The market should be community college transfer students. Recruiters can hold scholarship and grant writing workshops, truthfully engage with students to make an academic plan that validates their credit hours, work to mend the damaged reputation by being transparent with all stakeholders about the action plan. The pressure is great with declining enrollment, increasing performance standards, and funding cuts. This requires financial discipline and sometimes hard decisions to facilitate sustainable management of financial resources. That is to say, part of the action plan for this university should refocus and target a different demographic. Instead of trying to recruit doctoral students for a new doctoral program, they should refocus on community college students to increase their baccalaureate enrollment rates. If you're interested in learning more or reading more about the cases that we've talked about today, please view the references listed here and in the following slide. Thank you for attending my presentation on the assessment of case law on finance issues in higher education. Have a great day.